Ultraman Teo dares to be dorky in episode 2. We have a weird breakfast club / comrade club-ish sort of coming together of the Astronomy Club here. And they're all sucked into the orbit of Ferber's 2.0, the mini kaiju, who I believe is called Poochie, but who they don't call Poochie in this episode. I'm assuming because they're going to name him in episode 3 or 4 or whatever. But it's interesting because it's almost cool to be uncool based on how things are being shown in the show. What I mean by that is you have Kana and I believe Rintaro and Betsy and Emma and then Ibuki and now, you know, the kaiju too, Poochie. And they're all shown in different ways to kind of be dorks and doofuses. And that's especially funny for Kana and Rintaro, who have like a cool, aloof, like, oh, I don't care, I'm a loner, exterior or front that they put on. And yet, each of them, everybody besides Emma basically, was protecting Poochie and trying to keep him from getting into trouble. They were actively trying to help him because he's a cute little baby kaiju thing. And even though all of them were scared and got to have a very, over the top kind of reaction to him, they all care about this thing and tried to hide him. And I think that was really cool. I appreciated that very much. It's nice that there's this sweet core to all of them where they want to help this creature, even though they just had, one, they just found out the kaiju are real. 2, there was just a kaiju attack. And 3, they don't know anything about this kaiju. And I really like, actually, that as goofy and over the top and kind of silly, and you could, make fun of it if you wanted to, if you want to be, ungenerous, as all this is, you could call it, babyish or weak or whatever. At the same time, the scenario gives them an opportunity to honestly discuss things in a way that makes sense. This is a world, like this professor on TV was saying that, kaiju were just something in our imaginations, and to see that they're real, that's, terrifying. And what does that mean? And at least in a small, practical, anecdotal way, seeing the conversation that they all have with Emma, where she's like, we got to report this to somebody, because what if this thing's dangerous? We don't know anything about it, is very realistic. So I think she's being realistic, and I think they're being realistic, and I think each of them is doing it in their own way. So there's like a lot of character work, a lot of character writing built into their reactions to Poochie, and I appreciate it because everybody gets to be distinct, everybody has their own flavor, and it's realistic in that way, but also it's, they all get to kind of be dorks, which is fun. And it's nice because they have their own brands of goofiness that make them charming and make them endearing. And I appreciate that. I also think it's interesting that part of the conflict in this episode comes from the fact that Ibuki is not as cool as he could be, because he's a bit of a dork, because he doesn't like conflict, because I don't know if he didn't really try in his fight, or maybe he never really tried to fight on his homeworld. He's always been somebody who doesn't like conflict, and consequently, he doesn't have the tools he needs to kill and destroy kaiju like other ultras might. I wonder if that's why this kaiju ended up resurrecting and why it came back. And I wonder if maybe even this invisible kaiju that attacked as well is going to be kind of a result of his weakness and his dislike of conflict and his lack of willingness to follow through, which is a character flaw. It's a character flaw to be, I don't want to say it's a character flaw to be meek, but it's a character flaw to let your discomfort with something harm you and other people. You don't like doing certain things, big whoop. And I feel like that's more of something that's going to be talked about in the third episode, because I think that's what it's edging towards. But I did think it was important to bring that up, that, you know, we have the softness, the silliness, the goofiness, and it's all very fun, and it's nice to see the softer sides of these people, but also you need some hardness, and you need some grit, and you need some ability to say, this is who I am. I'm being pushed to my limits. I'm in a situation that I'm not comfortable with, and I'm going to react to it appropriately. I'm going to bring the appropriate level of response to the situation. And I think that's important. I think, and I wonder how the body language for Teo will be when he's fighting. Because in this, he's very much like, I don't want to fight. Like, and it's not like a cool Jackie Chan, like, I don't want no trouble. Like, it's like, I don't want to fight. Like, please, let's not do this. But he's still going out there and he's being brave. And it's like a little bit more endearing, a little bit more charming, that he doesn't want to fight and that he's afraid to fight, but he's still going out there and giving it his all. And I've been in situations where I have been asked to do something that I've never done before, or that I've done very few times. And I always approach things like that with a little bit of caution. But over time, as I've been asked to do things more and more and more, just you develop the skill, you develop the confidence, and you go and say, okay, fine, I got to do this thing. I'm just going to take care of it. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I'll wear, whatever I got to wear, or be, careful. I'm not going to stand in a pool of water while I'm working on electrical stuff. I'm not going to stand in a bucket while I'm working on electricity. But, I'm going to keep my feet dry, and I'm going to do it and make it work, and we're going to be okay. And, if something bad happens, whatever, I'll be okay in the end. But it's interesting to see, like, all of that in conflict with itself. Not in conflict with itself. It's just, there's like a conversation going on here. We're past the loneliness, and we're on to, well, how do we integrate with other people? And I would say Ibuki was like very much by himself, a solitary figure. And now that he's interacting with all these other people, it's funny, he brings a perspective of like, I bet to this alien here, we're all strange and scary, and we shouldn't, we're afraid of him because he's different, but he's afraid of us because we're different. And it's interesting because, like, both things can be true. Just like you can be intimidated by something, but still take it on and take on the challenge and not flinch from it, or at least push yourself to not flinch from it. And that's okay. I don't really know how to cap that off, except for I think it's interesting. And like, I think it's really weird and offbeat that they decided to make everybody a little bit lame, is like the best word I can think of. And I think that's really cool. What do you think? Am I assessing things properly? Is everybody a bunch of goofballs, but they're charming? Or do you think they're all super cool, or what? Let me know in the comments. Also, check out the pinned comment where you can find a link to my inspector's notes, where I will have the chance to go, or to dive deeper into this episode, as well as put some things there, some visuals there that you might want to enjoy as well. Until next time, folks, this is MJ with Writer Tears, with Going Ultra and Henshin Inspection, signing out.